Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yes, welcome everybody. We have text 13, the Īśopaniṣad. I can read it first, and after you can read. Yeah. Anyad evo sambhavat. Anyadahur asambhavat. Iti shushrumadhiranam. Yep. Yenastat vichachakshire. Yeah, you. Anyadevo sambhavat.
Anyadevo sam.
Yeah, please chant you also. Anyadharu asambhavat.
Anyadhara sambhavat.
Iti shushrumadhiranam.
Iti shushrumadhiranam.
Yenastat vichachakshire.
Yenastat vichachakshire.
Yeah, correct. Would you like to chant from Zoom?
Anyad evahu sambhavat.
Anyadeva sambhavat. Yeah.
Anyad evahu sambhavat. Anyad ahur asambhavat. Iti susrumam dhiranam. Yenastat vichashkire.
Yeah. You like to take word for word?
Yeah. Anyat different, eva certainly, of who it is said, sambhavat by worshipping, the Supreme Lord, the cause of all causes. Anyat different, of who it is said, asambhavat by worshipping what is not the Supreme. Iti thus, susruma I heard it. Dhiranam from the undisturbed authorities. Ye those, na unto us. Tat about that subject matter. Vichashkire perfectly explained. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this was heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it.
Yeah, please go on.
In this mantra of Śrī Īśopaniṣad, the system of hearing from the undisturbed authorities is confirmed. Unless one hears from the bona fide Acharya who is never disturbed by the changes of the material world, one cannot have the real key to transcendental knowledge. The bona fide spiritual master who has all heard the Shruti mantras or Vedic knowledge from his undisturbed Acharya never manufactures or presents anything which is not mentioned in the Vedic literature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that the worshippers of the Pitars or forefathers reach the forefathers. The gross materialists who make plans to remain here in the world remain here. And the devotees of the Lord who worship none but Lord Krishna, the supreme cause of all causes, reach him in his abode in the spiritual sky. Here also in Śrī Īśopaniṣad, it is said that different results are achieved by different modes of worship. If we worship the Supreme Lord, certainly we will reach the Supreme Lord in his eternal abode. And if we worship the demigods like the sun and the moon, we can reach these respective planets without any doubt. And if we want to remain here on this wretched planet with our planning commissions and our stop-gap political adjustments, we can certainly do that also. Nowhere in authentic scriptures it is said that whatever you do and whatever you worship, you will ultimately reach the same goal. Such foolish theories are offered by self-made masters who have no connection with the parampara, the bona fide system of disciple succession. The bona fide spiritual master cannot say that for everyone who has his own mode of worship, be it worship of the demigods or of the Supreme, it leads to the same goal. For a common man, it is very easy to understand that a person starting by train from Bombay to reach the destination from which he has purchased a ticket and nowhere else. A person who has purchased a ticket for Calcutta can reach Calcutta, but contemporary so-called masters preach that whatever spiritual ticket you may purchase, it will take you to supreme goal. Such mundane and compromising offers attract many foolish creatures to become puffed up with their manufactured methods of spiritual realization. But the Vedic instruction doesn't uphold them. Unless one has received knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master, one who is in recognized line of disciple succession, one cannot have the real thing as it is, the Bhagavad Gita says.
Good. Let us see. Okay, you can read that also, that quote.
Thus, O chastiser of the foe, the yoga principles were known to the great kings, but the parampara system being broken, these principles appear now to be lost.
Yeah, so wait a little bit. Where is this from the Bhagavad Gita? I think this is the verse, Evam parampara praptam imam raja shoyavidu sakalayana mahata yoga nashta parantapa. Yeah, that's the verse, right? It's a verse where Krishna is saying you can get this knowledge through the parampara, chain of disciplic succession. But yoga nashta, it appeared to be lost actually. And what was that? What was the reason? It was just because of time, in due course of time. Yeah. Time is deteriorating everything. That's why you actually need to have, books also. You have Shastra is also important. What did we get from what we have read so far? There is a point being made by Prabhupada that all paths are not leading to the same goal. Although it may seem so, yeah? Depend on what you worship, yeah. There's a few places where Krishna is very clear about that in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Any verses come to mind? Otherwise, I can find a few. For example, this verse where it says Yanti Deva Vrata Deva Pitir Yanti, he says, if you worship the demigods, you get to the plans of the demigods. If you worship the forefathers, you get to the worship of the forefathers. And Yantamam, Yajuna Pimam, and if you worship me, you come to me. This is one of the clear instances where Krishna is very, in uncertain terms, says that according to your worship, you are getting to that destination. Yeah. So how come some people may say, still, yeah, because Krishna is also, he's saying something that may be misunderstood. That, whatever you do, actually, it's all following Krishna's path. But that actually has a different, connotation to it. What is that verse again? Mama eva vartma anuvartante munusyam parta sarvasha. Yeah? Let's see if I can find that verse. Mama eva anuvartante munusyam parta sarvasha. Just give me a second, I'll find where it is. Mama eva anuvartante. Yeah. No, that's not the one. I can't find now. But you, any of us who have studied Bhagavad Gita, you will remember this verse. Mama eva anu vartante, manusham partha savarasha. Mama eva anu vartante. So it says, everybody is following my path. Now, my question to you, does that mean actually that... No, sorry, Mama Vartma Anu Vartante. Manushya Partha Sarvasha. I'll put it on the YouTube here now. So that's, I'll give you the verse. It's 4:11. Do you have the Gita somewhere? Yeah. So if you can take a look at Gita 4:11, this is a verse which sometimes has been used to misconstrue, Krishna's system. It's not actually a system that whatever you do, you are going the path that Krishna wants you to do. No, it means in a different way. Krishna has made all the paths. Yeah, Krishna is just telling, that he is giving according to what we do. Because everything is all the paths are his. It's all his path. But that means that it's his path that if we act like criminal we get into the prison. It's his path that if you act nicely we'll go to heaven. Yeah? So it doesn't mean that whatever you do is his path, right? He sees it in a different way. He just tells that he is behind everything. That doesn't mean that if you buy a ticket to Tokyo, you go to London. Yeah. And the same way, if you worship the demigods, you're not going to the forefathers. Then you go to the planet of demigods. If you worship the forefathers, you go to the planet of the forefathers. Still, it's his path. Does it make sense? Of course it makes sense. It's just common sense. Yeah. See, I'll just put this verse up if I manage to do that on the YouTube. It's not so easy, actually. Maybe this.
But Krishna is mentioning in that verse that it is important for the disciple to worship, to surrender to me. So first we have to surrender to Krishna, So
first we have to surrender to Krishna. Why you have to do that first? that comes in the end, no? Surrender to Krishna is the very last thing we do.
You want, but you have to surrender to me.
Where does he say that?
I don't know. I'm reading the translation of the verse.
Which verse? Oh, you mean 4:11?
4:11, yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay, so now let's look at that. I'll just make it so we can read it here. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respect. Okay, but that means to the degree of surrender. So say you have 100%, that is full surrender. So we may surrender 10%. Yeah. So in that way we don't call it surrender per se. It's not actually surrender, but say Krishna has a law book. He has 100 laws and we choose to follow 10 of the 100 laws. Yeah. So then it's like 10% surrender. You see, I was thinking in a different way about surrender. Like usually when we talk about surrender, we talk about full surrender. Isn't it? Yeah. But you're right. It's also partial surrender is also surrender. It's true. I agree about that. So we have to surrender actually. In any case, we are actually surrendering because we all follow his path. But to the degree we are surrendering, to that degree we will actually get, nice, results, you can say. Yeah. The results will not be so nice. For example, if you worship the demigods, initially it will look nice, we can go to heavenly planets. But even in heavenly planets, they are attacked by demons. And then again coming back to Earth planet, again have to struggle to make new karma. So in Īśopaniṣad itself, it says if one goes to that path, because going to heaven, worship demigods, is a temporary path. And the temporary path is necessarily, the path of darkness. It's only the eternal path which is actually the path of, light. Yeah, asatama satgamaya, tamasama jyotirgamaya. Yeah, exactly. So and even death, it says, It's a path of death. Yep.
Yeah, but Prabhuji, the whole thing is, if you have Krishna Kripa, then you don't have to go to the demigods. So first you have to make yourself good enough to have that Kripa. Then he will give you the right direction.
Yeah. That's true. The Kripa is mercy. Mercy.
Yeah, I mean to say only those people look for shortcuts who do not have like connection with Krishna. So
but actually, sometimes devotees also they look for shortcut. Yep. It's according to the purity of the devotee also. It's mostly we are Mishra. We have some Jnana Mishra and Karma Mishra there. We are feeling for liberation, knowledge, like ultimate knowledge we want to have, and we also may want to have just some enjoyment. Yeah. So in that Mishra state, Krishna will give that also. The desired things we may get, that we may get liberation, we may get material enjoyment also, but we won't get him personally, 100%.
Okay.
So in that way, there is like there is a hierarchy of cause and effect going all the way up until on the spontaneous platform. Then there is a free format. Yeah. Then it's free from the rigid rules and regulation. Rules and regulation is in the business world. Yeah. I work so much and I get so much pay. Yeah. I give you this much amount of money and I can get this much back. Yeah. So this is kind of the relationship going on between the Jiva and God. And before Jiva and God, then it goes on between Jiva and the demigods. Just like we explained yesterday. Krishna has this system how to get us gradually to him. In the beginning, the wayward son, the son of the king, you remember? He was leaving the kingdom completely, and then he just worked for a material master. And he's, mistreated like that. And then the king sends his minister, and then he starts working for the minister. That's a level up. He gets better treated. And then he works for the king directly. Still, the son wants to just do it for his own sake. But he's treated even better. And then he actually, fall in love with the king. I mean, he feels again, the loving bond with his father. Yeah. So that's the way of the Vedic path to gradually take us back. Yeah. So we may have still some misgivings, to the Lord, to the devotees, to the temple or whatever. But gradually, if we just stick around and do seva like that, we get more and more purified. In the end, we will actually start just appreciate. In the end, it's just pure appreciation. No misgiving at all. Harbor no ill feeling at all. It's just pure appreciation. At that level, it's a spontaneous love. Nobody needs to tell you, please do this. No, you just like to help out. Yeah. And similarly, it will go both ways. Then also, Lord, He likes to also give you new things. In the relationship between father and son, you may say when the son is very young and inexperienced, the father has to promise him chocolate, for doing the chores. Yeah, please, can you clean your room? I'll give you chocolate, and then the son will do. If he doesn't get chocolate, he won't do. Yeah, it's the same in Bhakti Yoga. We may only want to do seva if there is prasadam afterward. Yeah, if there is a nice prasadam, then we come to the program. Otherwise, we stay home. Yeah, but this is Lord arrangement. Yeah, but when we get very advanced, then we have fasting. Still we will come. Yeah. Okay, so should we read on? You can read on. When Lord Shri Krishna.
When Lord Shri was present in the world, the Bhakti Yoga principles defined in the Bhagavad Gita had become distorted, and so the Lord had to re-establish the disciplic system, beginning with Arjuna, who was the most confidential friend and devotee of the Lord. The Lord clearly said to Arjuna that it was because he was his devotee and friend that the principles of the Gita were understandable to him. In other words, no one can understand the Gita who is not a devotee and friend of the Lord. This means that only one who follows the path of Arjuna can understand the Gita. At the present moment, there are many interpreters of the sublime dialogue who have nothing to do with Arjuna or Lord Krishna. They interpret the verse of the Bhagavad Gita in their own ways and postulate all sorts of rubbish in the name of the Gita. Such interpreters believe neither in Sri Krishna nor in his eternal abode. So then, what can they explain about the Bhagavad Gita? The Gita clearly says that only those who have lost their senses worship the demigods. Krishna ultimately advises that one should give up all other ways and modes of worship and fully surrender unto him only. Those persons who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have such unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. Others will continue hovering over the material sphere with their paltry ways of worship, and thus will be misled from the real path, under the false impression that all the paths lead to the same goal.
Okay, thank you. So here again we have this this point made by Prabhupada in the previous verse. You remember the previous verse in the Īśopaniṣad? Anyad evora sambhava.
The first,
yeah. So it said, that you get one path by worshipping the demigods, or that which is not eternal, and then you get another path. No, he says, sorry, that was today's verse. He said, you get one result. How was it again? Where's my book? Oh, here. 12. Those who are engaged in worship of the demigods, that andam tama pravishanti ye asambhuti mupasate. Tatubu eva tetamo yau sambhutiyam rata. There it says that you go to the darkest region by worshipping the demigods, but even worse is to worship the absolute, but there it pertains to the impersonal absolute. So it's important to get that distinction, because otherwise it's a complete contradiction than what you read in mantra 13 and 14, which will actually say that worship of the Sambhutim, that is the way to go. Yeah, actually one should know both that and the temporary worship side by side. Just the same thing as we learn about Vidya and Avidya. Exactly the same, that you can be in the ignorance, and that's bad, but even worse is to be in the so-called knowledge. So here again is a so-called absolute truth, but the so-called absolute truth, it means the path of impersonalism, where one is on doing that, one can actually create a great havoc. It says that Mayavadism is creating havoc. So how is it creating havoc? Because it takes away, the meaning of life, basically. Because, it's no loving, God helping us. In the concept of Mayavadism, it's all just illusion, right? So it's said it's actually destroying, the rasa, the loving exchange, which we're supposed to have with Krishna, with God. So it's not really wanted. And from there one can fall again into the materialism again, as said in the Bhagavatam. Patantya do anadrita yushmadangraya. Yes?
So, Prabhuji, Prabhupada is saying we cannot worship Krishna plus the demigods, then we will lead to nowhere. Is that the meaning?
No. You can worship demigods, understanding that they are parts of Krishna, that they are Krishna's servants. Recently we have had Mahashivaratri, and some devotees in Iskcon, they were worshipping Lord Shiva on this day.
Yeah.
They did full puja to Lord Shiva. It's not demigod worship as we usually talk about it. It's talked about that you worship that God as the Ishvara, because that's the Mayavadi system. Is that you take all of them to be the highest. Vishnu is the highest, Durga is the highest, Shiva is the highest, Ganesh is the highest. And they view any of the demigods as being just another aspect. It is another aspect, but it's still chronologically not on the same level. Yeah, it's like you have a king. The minister of the king, he's representing the king, but he's not on the level of the king. The king may invest in him, the same power temporarily. The minister can act as the mouthpiece of the king. Everybody has to listen to the minister. The king may even force, please treat the minister as good as myself.
Yeah.
But still, the understanding is there that he's actually not the king. So the same thing with the demigods. They can have superior power very much. Say, for example, you have Yamaraj. He's controlling, he's the Lord of Death. He's supremely powerful. Still, he's not Lord. Yeah. Yeah. So if you worship, the highest, then all of the others are included. It's needless to say. If you go and make friends with the king, none of the minister can have any issue with you. They cannot touch you. If you are pal with the king, you are fine. Yeah. Yeah. You said Prabhupada, yeah? Yeah, Prabhupada is guru, and a guru is non-different from Lord, because, he's the Sakshat Dharitva. He's directly, the mercy manifestation of Lord to give us the instruction by which we can come to the Lord. At the same time, he's not the Lord. There's still a difference, because the guru is a mere jiva, a tiny, but he's playing a big role as the guru, yeah, by the arrangement of Krishna. Yeah. Okay, so next we will read is in this mantra. Is that the next one we will read? Yeah. In this mantra, the Sanskrit word Sambhavat, worship of the Supreme Cause, is very significant. Lord Krishna is the original personality of God, and everything that exists has emanated from him. In the Gita, the Lord explains himself. He says there that he is the creator of everyone, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Because these three principal deities of the material world are created by Lord, he is the creator of all that exists in the material and spiritual worlds. Yeah. Yeah, so this is also the thing, that Krishna is actually, above. He's above, Brahma, he's above Shiva, he's above even Vishnu. So that's a point which usually only the Krishnites they know, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Most people, they take Vishnu to be equal to Krishna, or even they take Krishna to be below Vishnu. According to Bhagavatam, there's a Paribhasa Sutra of Bhagavatam. Jiva Goswami, he was highlighting that verse as the most important verse. Eta chamsha kalha pumsha Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. There it said that, is mentioned the Das Avatara of Krishna, the 10 main avatars. And then it said that, out of these 10 avatars, Krishna is also mentioned as one of the 10. But there it says that Krishna, he is Bhagavan Swayam, he is personally the Bhagavan in person. So that cannot be misunderstood. That statement means really that he's coming personally, and all the others are just his avatars. And then you have also the Brahma Samhita, which is the same thing. Ramadi Muttishukala Niyamena Tishtan Nana Avatar Makarod Vibane Shukintu Krishna Swayam Abhavat. So it says there also that Krishna Swayam, he's actually the highest. Vishnu Mahansaya Yashakala Visheshu, Mahavishnu is just a part of him. Ramadi Muttishukala Niyamena Tishtan Nana Avataram. All these different avatars, they're actually below Krishna or Govinda. Krishna Swayam, he's actually the Bhagavan. He's the Swayam Bhagavan. Yeah. There are mentioned similar things other places. So that's actually the Siddhanta of the Vedic scriptures. You need an acharya to actually point out what is the Siddhanta, otherwise there is a myriad of verses. The 18 Mahapuranas, they are containing something like 400,000 verses. And if you read some of the Puranas in the lower gunas, because there are in the three gunas, you have Puranas in the goodness, in the passion, and the ignorance. Especially those in the ignorance, they will say Lord Shiva, Devi, is the highest. But from the Sattvika Puranas, like Vishnu Purana, Brahmana Purana, and especially Bhagavat Purana, there is clear that Krishna is the highest. And all the Puranas, then Bhagavad Purana is the highest, and that's also the Purana which has the most commentaries by Acharyas. And it's very clearly from the very beginning stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is actually the highest person to be worshipped. It starts already mentioning Krishna's name, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Janmadasya Taha Anvyad, Taratashta Chesha Vigyasvarat, Tenem Ramaridaya, the Kavaya Muyanti at Sura. Immediately just put Vasudeva. Vasudeva is another name of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Yeah. It's immediately just established that he's the highest, he's above all the demigods. Even Lord Brahma, he was getting, the Vedic knowledge from him in the heart. Yeah. So as far as Bhagavatam is concerned, any interpreter of the Bhagavatam, he has to admit that Bhagavatam is saying that Krishna is above everybody else. Yeah. In that way, then, worship of demigods is not on the same level, can never be. Shankaracharya, he is famous for having made a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is a commentary on all the Vedic scriptures. It's just philosophically, giving in a nutshell what is the philosophy of the Vedas by Vyasadeva himself. And also in the Vedanta Sutra is establishing that actually Krishna is the Supreme Bhagavan. But Shankaracharya, he very cleverly, juggled with words in his commentary, and he established that you can say his philosophy of Mayavadi was established on the basis of that, commentary on Vedanta Sutra. But a few places he even, contradicts the author of Vedanta Sutra, Vyasadeva himself. That's not supposed to be, the way to do, a commentary. The commentary should just explain what is there, not, give a new interpretation going against, the grain of the author. Yeah. So in that way, Sankaracharya was heavily criticized by Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, which head of two different, sampradayas, Vaishnava sampradayas. And then Baladev Vidyabhushana, he made, the commentary for Gaudiya Vaishnavas on the Vedanta Sutra, all explaining, how Shankaracharya is wrong. And then you have, the reference to Shankaracharya that he is, incarnation of Lord Shiva for the age of Kali. Yeah, it's given in a few places, in the Shiva Purana and another place. It's given that Lord Vishnu is instructing Sankaracharya that he should, interpret the Vedas in. It's actually used the word Mayavadi, and he said there that it's actually covered Buddhism. Yeah, so that's also what we call impersonalism. So that was the job of Lord Shiva in the age of Kali. He incarnates as Shankaracharya, and in that way he's driving a lot of people who otherwise would be atheist. Now they're atheistic, following the Vedas, which is high level. At least, they're vegetarian, they're following a very nice sattvic culture. Before that you had Buddhism, but that didn't follow the Vedas. And they also have trouble to be vegetarian, as we can see. Yeah. So in that way it's upgrading. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he explained that this was the Lord's plan. Just like I explained the other plan yesterday of Krishna to have the demigod worshipped, that gradually the person can come closer to the original Father. In the same way, in the same way, this gradual progression. First, it was the Vedic sacrifices had gone haywire. It was too much, fire sacrifice where they were offering, animals and eating the animals. And then Buddhism came with ahimsa philosophy and rejecting all the Vedas. So at least in the beginning, they were vegetarian and more pious in that way. But they didn't touch the Vedas. They just rejected it. And then after that came Shankaracharya, and again it was the same philosophy as the Buddhists, but now following the Vedas, but in a twisted way. Interpreting, especially the Upanishads and the Vedanta Sutra as, giving an impersonal conclusion that we are all just one with the Lord, and we're not actually, eternally different. So then after that, Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, especially Madhvacharya, he came and gave Dvaita philosophy, that we are two. And if you see in the picture of Madhvacharya, he has his hand like that, like a V, two, you know. So they're very much, that should be two, not one. In any discussion, you know, they always say no oneness at all. If anybody says, no, I feel now I'm one with Krishna, next is, no, you're not one. You are always separate, very much. Ramanujacharya, he was a little bit more lenient. He said, you can feel the oneness, but at the same time, you know, we are also, you know, worshippers of the Lord, but we are, you know, existing in the one. And he kind of gave a little bit more leeway to also you can have some oneness feeling. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, there is also oneness, but at the same time there is difference. So that was Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva. So we reconciled, you know, everything, made it perfect. And that's the only conclusion you actually can have for this system to work. There is definitely oneness, because it's the one energy of the Lord. And even, as we said, the Guru, he now become like the Lord. He take the role, but at the same time he's not. Same time different, same time one. This is the point. The Lord is in everybody's heart. In that way, you can say he is here, but at the same time he's not here. Krishna is in the whole name. At the same time he's also in Goloka Vrindavan. He's simultaneously one and different. So in that way, we have progressed now all the way from being, you know, materialistic to become, you know, Buddhistic, to be Mayavadis, and now finally we are devotees. So it's a nice progression. It's all following the system of the Lord. Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. Does it make sense? Also on Zoom. You there? Yep. Okay, good. Let's continue. In the Atharva Veda, it is similarly said that one who existed before the creation of Brahma and one who enlightened Brahma with Vedic knowledge is Lord Shri Krishna. Yeah. The Supreme Person desired to create living entities, and thus Narayan created all the beings. From Narayan, Brahma was born. Narayan created all the Prajapatis. Narayan created Indra. Narayan created the 8 Vasus. Narayan created 11 Rudras. Narayan created the 12 Adityas. So this verse is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita somewhere. Yeah. This Narayan being the plenary manifestation of Lord Krishna, Narayan and Krishna are one and the same. But of course, also at the same time different, because Narayan is pertaining to, you know, the Vishnu with 4 arms. Krishna always has only 2 arms.
What means this Aditya?
Yeah, Adityas are the 12 sons of Aditi. Yeah, you have 2 sisters, Diti and Aditi. So the Daityas are the demonic sons of Diti. They all become demons. Adityas are the sons of Aditi. So both are, you know, wives of Kashyap Muni, one of the Prajapatis. So the Adityas are all, you know, demigods, like Indra, Surya. So very often, you know, sun god is called Aditya. Yeah. Yeah. There are later readings also which say that the same Supreme Lord is the son of Devaki. His childhood with Devaki and Vasudeva and his identity with Narayan have also been confirmed by Sripad Shankaracharya, even though Shankara does not belong to the Vaishnava personalist cult. There are still other readings also in the Atharva Veda, such as this. Only Narayan existed in the beginning, and there was no existence of Brahma or Shiva, nor of Agni, the fire, nor of water. There were no stars, there was no sun, no moon. He does not remain alone. He desires. He creates as he desires. Yes, and another reference there, and both of these references from the Vedas and the Upanishads, they are found in the Bhagavad Gita. I think it's in 10.8 maybe, in the purport. Yeah. There you can see the exact where they come from. In the Moksha Dharma it is said, I created the Prajapatis and the Rudras. They have not complete knowledge of me because they are also covered by my illusory energy. In the Vara Purana it said, Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him the 4-headed Brahma became manifested, and also the Rudra, who later became omniscient. Yeah, so this is all to prove, you know, that Krishna is above all the demigods. Yeah. Thus all Vedic literature will confirm this view that Narayan, or Krishna, is the cause of all causes. In the Brahma Samhita also it is said that the Supreme Lord is Sri Krishna. He is Govinda, the delighter of every living being, and he is the primal cause of all causes. The really learned person will know all this by the evidence of great sages and the Vedas, and will thus decide to worship Lord Krishna as all in all. Yeah. Usually this, term all in all, it's used kind of in a negative sense. Oh, I lost the book here. I should have the book up in... oh, there it is. Now it's back. Good. Sorry if you lost it on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, but all in all, it means... Usually in the material world, if anybody thinks something is all in all, they are foolish, right? Say if I go around, I think matter is the all in all, I think everything is matter, then I'm foolish, because it's not. There's also the spiritual side. If I have a hobby and I think that hobby is the all in all, then people will think I'm a nerd, yeah. But if you think Krishna is the all in all, you are good. Yeah. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. You are a very rare species of Mahatma, according to Bhagavatam. Mahatmas are great souls. Yeah. Anything else we think is all in all will naturally be, a disaster, really. But he is actually the all in all. That's why it works. Yeah. So let's see. Persons are called Buddha or really learned, who fasten themselves only to the worship of Sri Krishna. This conviction can be established when one hears the transcendental message from the undisturbed Acharya with faith and love. One who has no faith in or love for Lord Krishna cannot be convinced of this simple truth. Such faithless persons are described in the Bhagavad Gita as mudas, foolish as the ass. It is said that the mudas deride the personality of Godhead because they don't have complete knowledge from the undisturbed Acharya. One is disturbed by the whirlpool movements of the material energy is not qualified to become an Acharya. Yeah. Namam duskritino muda prapanyanti naralma asuramba. You have these 4 different kinds of people who never will surrender to Krishna, and they're described as foolish. So now, sometimes people, they became inspired by Srila Prabhupada, that he said sometimes, fools and rascals. Yeah, he called people fools, rascals, and he's preaching strongly. Yeah, but we cannot really copy paste this. We may have tried to do that, but it has failed miserably because it actually may scare the newcomers away. Even if even if you can say it's correct, yeah. A devotee should be very gentle and very considerate, and try to see things from the other person's perspective. So, Prabhupada, he may call Mayavadi, rascals. If we do that, we may not actually, have success. Because when Prabhupada was preaching, he did it with a lot of compassion. And he also, like you have this prayer, there is one prayer actually. It's in Markina Bhagavad Dharma, maybe. Prabhupada is praying in this prayer, that he has come to America where people are materialistic. When he came, he was making a prayer, famous prayer. And there he says actually, he says, these fools and rascals, they don't know about your existence, They think, the material world is all in all, something like that. But he calls them fools and rascals. But then he said, I'm praying for these people. I want to help them. So there you can see when Prabhupada says fools and rascals, it's not with this kind of condescending attitude or superiority attitude, like looking down upon. No, it's like from pure compassion. He didn't. The point is, when he said fools and rascals, yeah, he said ignorant, but he really showed like that he cared, right? He wrote so many books. The man was getting up in the night, 2 o'clock every single night. He was sacrificing his night sleep to give us this knowledge, okay, to help us fools and rascals. So,
Young.
huh?
And he was not young.
Yeah, he was not young, See, he was not in an angry mood preaching. Like, if I say fools, it's like I'm losing my temper, and I'm just, blasting people. He was not like that. He was using the word in a different way. Like he was an old man also. It was more like, kind of in a loving way, calling somebody a rascal. It's like an old man. He calls like the child who's doing havoc for a rascal. Yeah. So in that way, usually we cannot just use these words ourselves, because the delivery is not going to be the same. Yeah. Rather, why should we only copy Prabhupada when it comes to saying fools and rascals? Why not copy Prabhupada, in producing so many books and teaching the good example of Krishna? Why only copy what we think is like heavy? Yeah, this also doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. So just something about that, and also this thing about Mayavadis. Prabhupada very many times blasted the Mayavadis, but again, sometimes devotees were like it's an example in that somebody heard about a Mayavadi, some new devotee. He heard that some new person came to the temple and he liked one of these so-called Mayavadi gurus. And then that devotee, he said, oh, this person is, a rascal. Because he's just heard that Prabhupada said it, And that new person who came to the temple, he was like, why is he saying, this person is nice. He gave me so much inspiration. And now this devotee is saying he's a rascal. I will not come back. And the person didn't come back. So in that way, you're losing people rather than getting them. So you have the proof of what we do is in the result. So if we blasting and saying fools and rascals just makes everybody run away from the association of devotees, then it may not be the right tactic, right? So yeah, and for example, Prabhupada in the beginning when he came to America, he was living with the Mayavadi. You know that? He came to. First he was in Butler, Pennsylvania. He lived with his family. That was okay. Actually, this family they were, you can say, not even Mayavadis. They were just normal people, you can say. And he just shared their fridge, and they had meat in the fridge, like any normal person in society. They were not particularly, Krishna devoted. But Prabhupada was very nice to them. He didn't say, what do you have in your fridge? No. He was completely cool. Later, Prabhupada, he moved to America and to New York, and he still didn't have, his own place. So he was sharing the room with a Mayavadi who was preaching there. He actually, Prabhupada was allowed to give some classes in the yoga studio every week. And of course, philosophically, Prabhupada was disagreeing with that Mayavadi. That's stated, in the history book about Prabhupada. He was disagreeing, and they had like heavy discussions. Prabhupada didn't budge an inch. He said, this is wrong. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is not one, and all this. However, every day Prabhupada was cooking for them. They were cooking and eating together. Prabhupada was eating together with that person. Yeah? He was treating him like a gentleman. So this is like the example we really can learn from. Not that like they're just right. We just keep far away and treat them like persona non grata 100%. No, Prabhupada was showing by his own example he was human. So rather we try and see the whole picture. Then we can actually actually preach. Yeah. So that's just something about that. Yeah, it's also here. Prabhupada says the undisturbed acharya is a dhira. It's called a dhira, for a reason. Yeah. That is dhira, who is not disturbed by all this, who still are seeing everybody on the spiritual platform. Although you can say philosophically we disagree, still we are on the same platform as spirit. It's very important. Again, it's achinta bheda bheda tattva. We may have external differences, philosophical differences. Maybe the person is a rascal, maybe not. Still we are there, we are cool. And usually my spiritual master said, that we should rather think, how people are tolerating us, than we think, I have to tolerate everybody, because then we're really stuck up, and it's not in reality. It's not like we have to tolerate everybody. It means that we are really weak-hearted. Why we need to tolerate? It's like we should be happy that we have this good association, right? It's like we are rascal. You should rather think that we are rascal, and that people are tolerating us. And then we will be grateful, Yeah. Any comments or questions? How about from the Zoom, if you're still there? I think she went somewhere. Yeah, that's okay.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Krishna. Yeah, okay, so what do you think? Any comments? Or we keep on reading?
No, there is no comment as such. We can keep on reading.
Can you keep on reading?
In the Atharveda.
I lost where I was reading.
Before?
Is there before the Gita? Before hearing the Gita? Yeah.
Before hearing the Gita, Arjuna was disturbed by his whirlpool, the reaction of family, society, and community affection, and thus he wanted to become a philanthropist and a non-violent man of the world. But when he became Buddha by hearing the Vedic knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Person, he changed his decision and became a worshipper of Lord Krishna, who had himself designed the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna worshipped the Lord by fighting with his so-called relatives, and thus became a pure devotee of the Lord. Such achievements are possible only by worshipping the real Krishna and not by worshipping some fabricated Krishna inaugurated by foolish men who are without knowledge of the intricacies of the science of Krishna described in the Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yep.
According to the...
Yeah,
Should
continue.
I continue?
Continue, yeah.
According to the Vedanta Sutra, the Sambhuta is the source of birth and sustenance, and the reservoir after annihilation. The Srimad Bhagavatam, the natural commentary upon the Vedanta Sutras by the same author, comments that the source of all emanations is not a dead stone, but is a Vishnu, of fully conscious. Therefore, the primeval Lord Shri Krishna says in the Gita that he is fully conscious of the past, the present, and the future, and no one, including demigods such as Shiva and Brahma, know him fully. Those who are disturbed by the tides of material existence cannot know him fully. Such half-educated spiritual masters try to make some compromise and make the mass of human beings the object of worship. They do not know that such worship of the masses is not possible, nor are the masses perfect. This is something like pouring water on the leaves of the tree. Instead of watering the root, the natural process of worship is to pour water on the root of the tree from which the leaves grow. But today's disturbed leaders become more attracted by the leaves than the root, and therefore, in spite of perpetually watering the leaves, all is drying up for want of nourishment. Śrī Īśopaniṣad advises us to pour water on the root, the source of all germination. Worshipping the mass population by rendering bodily service, which can never be perfect, is less important than the service to the soul. The soul is the root generating different types of bodies in terms of the law of karma or material reaction. To serve only the human being by medical aid, social amenities, and educational facilities, while cutting the throats of poor animals in slaughterhouses, does not add up to any valid service to the living beings.
Thank you. We stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a point about vegetarian, to be vegetarian. Yeah, vegetarian. Yeah. So Prabhupada says the soul is the root generating different types of bodies. So in that way you can say the soul has also generated the animal body, right? So killing the animal body then is violence to another soul. Yeah. So in that way it's himsa, and in any kind of yoga or Hindu religion or any kind of system which we have from our culture is to be non-violent. That's the very start of the whole thing. Yeah. Vegan. Yeah, and many are vegan. Yeah, because they're killing the cows also in the slaughterhouse. Yeah, but you know, that argument is there that, you know, especially in the temple, you know, to do the temple worship of the Lord, one need to have milk product. You know, say you have your offering lamp should be made with the ghee, and the deity should always have some milk. I mean, milk products, something. So then you can say, but you know, the cow is being killed, you know. Yeah, but you know, let's take the example. Say you have a wife. Yeah, she been, you know, beaten by the husband. She's coming to temple and do service. Yeah. And then somebody argued, but you know, she's doing service to the deity. But you know, she's been beaten. She's not pure. No, of course she's pure. So in the same way, the cow is doing service, is giving milk to Krishna. The cow is being, you know, beaten and killed. But you know, why not accept, you know, what the cow can give? It's natural. You know, every living entity is natural, you know, servant of God. So still, you know, it's a bad karma, you know, of the wife to be beaten, and it's bad karma of the cow to be killed. Of course, it's bad. We don't want that. We want to stop it. Still, you know, the service is being done and can be done. What I mean to say, are you really supporting the slaughtering by buying the milk? I mean, you're supporting the milk production, you can say. Of course, the other side of it, that they're killing the cow, is not good. But we're not supporting that by buying the milk. If you just take that product from the material world and giving it to Krishna and spiritualize it. So in that way, actually, the devotees are purifying something that otherwise would be, you know, sinful. Because it's sinful to just keep cows for milk and just kill them after. That's sinful. But at least they take the milk out of that. So in the same way, you have a sinful person. He could be, you know, a criminal. If he come to temple and he wants to give a donation, he give 100 kroner. Would the temple, you know, not allow that? No. He's a criminal. No. Still, he can give, right? Does it make sense? He can even be the worst criminal. It's not that he's blocked from... Anybody can come, no matter who they are. So in the same way, on that logic, the temple may still, you know, accept cow products, milk. Yeah. No, of course, you have the other side of it. It's, you know, karma. And I mean, our personal kind of, you can say, health. Maybe health-wise, you should have, you know, organic milk or milk from the nicely treated cow. There may be better vibrations and all these things. That's okay from the, you can say, sorry to say, but it's like more from the mundane point of view of your own, you know, health and mentality. But from the mentality of worshipping Krishna, there is only on the absolute plane. You have the cow and he wants to do seva as a jiva. So in that way, she's producing milk and you just take the milk. The vibes or whatever may be, but Krishna is just accepting the service. Bhava Grahya Nardana. So that's on the absolute plane. Does it make sense? So in that way, if you take it as a service to Krishna to have the milk, and similarly, you may take it as a service that you're keeping your body also in good condition by having milk, because apparently, you know, the body needs milk. If you're vegetarian and you don't get milk, you may get you know, some insufficiency, unless you're a yogi, of course. But that's actually explained that the yogis, back in the day, they were surviving just by drinking milk. Yeah, but of course that milk was probably good quality. Yeah. Okay, so how far did we get in the reading?
Here, the living beings is perfect.
Cutting the throats, yeah. Yeah, the living being is perpetually suffering from the material disease of birth, death, old age, and disease in different types of body. The human form of life is a chance to get out of this entanglement of material existence. This can be done simply by re-establishing the lost relationship of the living entity with the Supreme Lord. The Lord comes personally to teach us this philosophy of surrender unto the Supreme, the Sambhutam. Real service to humankind is to teach surrender unto the Supreme Lord and to worship Him only with full love and energy. That is the instruction of Śrī Īśopaniṣad in this mantra. Hare Krishna. The simple way to worship the Supreme Lord in this age of disturbance is to hear and chant about His great activities. The mental speculators, however, think of the activities of the Lord as imaginary, and therefore they refrain from any such hearing process. and invent some juggler of words without any substance to divert the attention of the poor innocent mass of people. Instead of hearing the activities of Lord Krishna, they prefer to advertise themselves by inducing their followers to sing about the pseudo-spiritual master. Yeah. Yeah. In modern times, the number of such pretenders has increased in considerable numbers. And it has become a problem for the pure devotees of the Lord to save the mass of people from the unholy propaganda of these pretenders and imitation incarnations of God. Yeah, so then you can imagine you have a Baba, as they sometimes call him in India. He'll say, just listen to me, you don't need to, have all this, Krishna Katha or whatever, just listen to me, I'm the new incarnation. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty bad. The Upanishads indirectly draw our attention to the primeval Lord Shri Krishna, and the Bhagavad Gita, which is a summary of all the Upanishads, directly points out Shri Krishna. One should therefore hear about Krishna as he is in the Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that will gradually help him in cleansing his mind of all contaminated things. The Bhagavatam says, by hearing the activities of the Lord, one draws the attention of the Lord towards the devotee. And the Lord, being situated in the heart of every living being, helps the devotee by giving him proper direction. Yeah. The Bhagavad Gita also confirms this. Yeah. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. He says, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. Yeah. So Prabhupada is now talking. This is also the same which is said there in the Bhagavatam. There is a section in the Bhagavatam. It's in the first canto, second chapter, which describes this whole process from hearing and how the heart is becoming purified and so on. Yeah. So this inner direction by the Lord cleanses the heart of the devotee of all dirty things which are produced from material modes of passion and ignorance. So it says Tada Rajastamobhava. Yeah. How is that verse going again? Anyway, it's also mentioned in Prabhupada is quoting this section also in the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. The non-devotees are under the direction of passion and ignorance. By passion one cannot become detached from material affinity, and by ignorance one cannot know what he actually is and what the Lord is. Thus in the state of passion there is no chance for self-realization, however much one may play the false part of a religionist. Yeah. So that's interesting, because in the passion usually people are most preachy in the passion. Then they are preaching a lot, So now we have kind of not just kind of, we have three different ways. We could pull them up and see if you can make some sense. Let's see. Maybe I can write them on the top here. Do they appear in the screen then? No. Maybe I'll write them. Yeah, I'll write them on the notepad here. Let's see. Yes, we have exclusivists, and then you have those who are inclusive. Yeah. Exclusivists, and what is in the middle? Yeah, polytheists. Yeah. And then you have the inclusive. Yeah. 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 So I'll take that up here. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. So now I put this up on the YouTube here. You can see that. Yeah, so the exclusivists, that's your well-known, die-hard preacher who says, it's my way or the highway. Yep. From, the Vedic point of view, this is actually pretty rude to say that only one of the innumerable paths, given is actually, the God-given part. Because Krishna has given all the different parts. Krishna, he has given all the different parts. He didn't only give paths. Yeah, as we just read from Bhagavad Gita. Vartma, you remember what was the verse again? Oh, I have so bad memory. Yeya tam mam prapadente tam stateva bhajam. Yeah, the second part. Mama vartma anu vartante. Vartma means the way. Yeah, everybody is following my way, but what it means is that all the ways are given by Krishna. In that way, everybody is following his way, but it's simultaneously it's one and plural. Yeah. Yeah. So in that way, I met some people from usually we said Abrahamic religions. They are saying it's just our Messiah, or our prophet is the last one, and that's it. You follow that one, you will go back to heaven, to God. Otherwise, you're lost. Yeah. But actually, once I met the Mormons on the street, and they gave me a flyer. On that flyer they wrote the 10 rules that they have, and one of their 10 what you can say rules or tenets or whatever was that God has given all the different spiritual and religious paths. That's why we should respect all of them. That was one of the rules, and I was pretty impressed. So they're not like in that way they are more broad-minded. Yeah. So you can say yeah. And then you have the other side is the politists, and of course the politists that means they say all paths. Yeah. Yeah, please close. Just the one to the kitchen, because I think they will carry more stuff in here. Yeah. Yes, we're preparing now to have we will have an initiation ceremony here now with Bhakta Bill starting at 4:00. Hopefully we are allowed to stream that also. Yeah, so now we're preparing everything, and after that we will have a kirtan evening for the Vyasa Puja, is it that? Vyasa Puja with Holiness Kadamba Swami. So it'll be a great day today with many events. So don't just watch this, Bhakti Shastra. Stay tuned for the rest of the evening. Unless you want to come here in person, also, you're also welcome. Yeah, yeah. So politists is the next one. So that is saying, the politists, they're saying, all paths are same. Yeah. It's like completely opposite, completely inclusive. Yeah. It's like open for everything. Yeah. All paths are the same. Yeah. And then you have the inclusivists. So, yeah. So you can say that's better than being exclusivist. But it said, that if you have it's good to have an open mind, but if you have a too much open mind, your brain may fall out. Yeah. So I mean, if you can take you can say the worst example, you may look in some New Age, styles. New Age people are notoriously famous for being too much open-minded sometimes, right? There's UFOs, aliens, everything goes, right? They just believe in everything. Yeah? Somebody can come and say, I have now contact with an alien, I'm just going to tell you what the alien says, I'm a medium. And, all kinds of wild stuff is going on with, these New Age people. Yeah? And of course, the exclusivists, they're just, completely... They're so frustrated with the New Age people, they pray for them all day long, want to save them. But inclusivists, that means, what does that mean? Well, that's supposed to be us, right? We're supposed to be the best, right? I mean, we try. We at least we should try to be in that path. One can be a Krishna and also be, like a very exclusive. It says it's only our movement, it's only Krishna, even only our branch of Krishnaism, only our specific group, or even worse, inside, even our group, they say, it's only my specific guru.
Yeah.
It's like maximum narrow-minded. Yeah? It's like, no. actually, follow with reason. That's the thing. Follow, but use your brain. Yeah. Follow with reason God's path. Yeah. Follow with reason God's system. Yeah. I would say that could be inclusivists. So you're given a system by God. So you have you have this religion, that religion, and it has a scripture. It has proper system. It makes sense. It's not like abusive. You can kind of check it out. Is it completely new, invented from the brain of somebody just yesterday, or does it have some kind of history behind it? Is it solid? That way you can say, okay, it's coming from God. It's like people and practitioners are sincere. Good, just follow that, and you will go to God. Yeah. So in that way, it's inclusivist. Yeah. So we in the Hare Krishna movement, we try to be inclusive. We see that the Lord has arranged everything. At the same time, we're not so open-minded that our brain is falling out. Yeah. So yeah. Like that. So usually those people who are very much claiming that this is the only way and everybody else is lost and my guru is the only one, and it's like I'm sorry to say, but usually they are tainted with mode of ignorance actually. If you look at these people who are like in that mood, usually you'll find that they actually have usually some problem with the tamagun. I'm sorry to say. Yeah. Those who are really sattvic, I haven't met anybody who is really sattvic who really has that mood. But they just say that all others are just useless, only my way is right. I didn't find yet. Really nice, sattvic devotees who are advanced. The most advanced devotees I met, they're all very inclusive. All of them. They're not harsh, they're not, condescending to other people. No, not at all. And somebody likes to try and copy Prabhupada, that he said fools and rascals, but did they ever see Prabhupada, in live? No, they just heard some tape from Prabhupada, they just read what Prabhupada is saying here and there. But if they actually would have met Prabhupada, they would probably have a different, conception. Yeah. Yeah, so there's just some words about that. Did we read the whole purport? We should read on in the purport. Yeah, let's see, where were we? Yeah. Yeah. For a devotee. Yeah, where are we? I think I lost it. Oh, I stopped in the middle. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. The text on the screen is just so small. Yeah. There I found it. Yeah. Yeah. So we read on. For a devotee, by the grace of the Lord, the modes of passionate ignorance are removed. Yes, so there is hope. And he at once becomes situated in the quality of goodness, the sign of a perfect Brahmana. This stage of Brahminical qualification can be earned by anyone and everyone, provided he follows the path of devotional service under guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. The Bhagavatam says that any low-born living entity can be made purified under the guidance of a pure devotee of the Lord, because the Lord is so extraordinarily powerful. Yeah. So we may have our baggage, but Lord will help us. The first sign of Brahminical qualification is that the candidate becomes happy. Yeah, that's good. And become enthusiastic in the matter of devotional service to the Lord. This unveils before him automatically all about the science of God. And thus knowing the science of God, he gradually becomes loosened from his material attachments, and his doubtful mind becomes crystal clear by the grace of the Lord. In this stage only can one become a liberated soul and see the Lord in every step of life. That is the perfection of Sambhavat as described in this mantra of Śrī Īśopaniṣad. Yeah, so here the word Sambhavat was pertaining to the actually real eternal situation of the Lord. While in the text 12, it was pertaining to the misunderstanding of Sambhuti or Sambhavat, where one is actually more or less, ridiculously using the eternal concept as either an impersonalist or you can say a false, a religionist. Yeah. But here is the proper way to do it. As the verse itself said, what did it say? He says, it's said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and another is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. So here it says if we worship that Sambhutim or Sambhavat properly, then we get that one result. Yeah. So Upanishadic verses are a little bit cryptic. Yeah. One has to have a little bit of a mind to ponder about this and try and decode them. Yeah. But the hint is given here, iti shushrumadhiranam. This is explained by the Dhiras. So this is a hint to that actually we can only understand this by hearing from Guru. Yeah. You remember from Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, the first verse there said, what is a Dhira? Yeah? Varcho vegam manasakroda vegam jiva vegam udarupasta vegam itan vegam yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam apimam pritivim sashishyat. There is said that the dhira is a person who has sishyas or disciples. And in order to actually teach the disciple properly, the person has to be self-controlled. Yeah. Varcho vegam manasakroda. There is a lot of forces we are carrying around. These forces are because of the modes of passion and ignorance. Yeah. When the body has become sattvic, these forces will not disturb that much. So in that way, the Vedic knowledge can be assimilated. So immediately when you have the guru, and especially the time of initiation, something mystical is happening actually. It's good we talk about this now because soon we're going to have this initiation ceremony. It's explained what is happening is that now Krishna through the Guru is awarding a new body to the disciple. It's called the sadhaka deha. He gets the body of a sadhaka, he or she. Yeah. And this is a new body. It wasn't there before. Yeah. So, yeah.
The life before that.
Yeah, the life before was like the shadow body. Yeah. Material. That was a material body before. Yeah. So now in that sadhaka deha is cultivated, the spiritual, bhava, yeah, of love for Krishna. And the more it practiced more and more, then it go gradually more and more to become siddha. And in the end, the result is going to be siddha deha. And that is the 100% spiritual body. Yeah. So it's the most auspicious thing to get, the diksha from the spiritual master, which is initiating the process. That's why it's called initiation. Yeah. Very logical, right? Amazing. Yeah. So now we can actually wrap up. We can hear if any comments or questions from Mataji on Zoom. Minu, you have some comments or questions? We like to close off a little bit early.
To come to the temple now.
Yeah, you will also come to the temple. Very good. Since we have our nice ceremony today, we give a little space to the next program. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting just ready to come to the temple.
Super. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you.
Jai.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.